Brought to you by Hula Frog. Local things for kids to do. HulaFrog.com.
Hello, and thanks for watching Illusionist Michael Howell Live. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Hula Frog. I'd also like to thank our guest sponsor, Macaroni Kids. I also like to thank Mildred and Dildred, Williams Magic Shop, and Arizona Families. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching this weekend. Sorry we had a lot of technical difficulties, so last weekend's episode did not happen, but that's okay. Don't worry, we're going to get that guest on in the future. So yeah, guys, we have a very special guest. Please welcome Chris Seidman. All right, guys, we have a very special guest, Chris Seidman. Chris Seidman, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Michael. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. So Chris is the one of the owners, right, of Unscrewed Theater. So Chris, how did you? What made you want to start an improv theater?
Well, technically, my title is executive director,
Okay.
and we are a nonprofit community theater. And so what that means is, besides the fact that everyone is a volunteer, it means that everyone has a hand in running the theater. And the way that the theater started and what I bring to it is that before there was a theater, there was an improv troupe. And we were a group of people who loved doing improv comedy. And for about 12 years, we would do improv comedy in different places all around town, in places like coffee shops and restaurants, and even at the library, and also at bookstores. Basically anywhere people would say that we could perform. And we were really happy to do it because we loved making people laugh. And then about 7 years ago, we decided as a group to open up our own theater here in Tucson and made that happen. And so I love making people laugh. I love being part of bringing laughter to people and helping them kind of forget about their troubles. And so that's what makes me passionate about doing improv. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun to just do things right off the top of your head and to make people laugh.
That's awesome, man. I know that part of the reason I perform and do magic is if I could put a smile on one person's face a day, I've done my job. So that's really cool.
Right.
So what got you into, for like, I know you do improv, but what inspired you as a performer to even start performing and get into improv or any kind of arts?
Well, that goes way back to when I was a little kid. I grew up in Southern California, and so I was around entertainment all the time. I didn't have any family members who were in the entertainment business, but I loved watching TV. I loved the movies. And so at an early age, I really wanted to do something in TV or the movies, and I had an idea that I wanted to be an actor. And so I was in school plays, I think, and actually speaking of magic, one of the very first things that I did was in kindergarten, we had a talent show and I did a magic act. You know, I was not as skilled at it as you are, but I had my magic hat and I had a cape, you know, and I was doing tricks, and that was actually the first thing I remember doing on stage. And then from there, I was in some school plays, and I took drama all 4 years of high school. And then for a while, I wasn't doing any acting or performing. And then when I moved to Tucson in 2004, I was looking for a way to make friends and a way to, you know, have a social life. And so I remember in high school, we were doing improv. And between our scripted productions, we did some improv. And also, I had a friend who was living up in Oregon at the time, and he was doing improv. So I said, well, maybe I'll take a look and see if there's any improv here in town. And I did find a group of people who were doing improv comedy, and it just kind of happened that way. And I started doing it in 2005, and I'm still doing it 15 years later.
That's so cool. That's awesome. So I'm curious because I didn't know you did magic growing up. Would you mind telling me what that trick was, or do you remember what you performed?
You know, I don't even remember, Michael. It was like a Christmas present. You know, my mom bought me one of those plastic magic hats, you know, and it had like some cards where you would try a card trick. I think it had like a bent nail trick. Like there were like bent nails, and you would go like this, and they would separate. You know, things like that. That's where I learned my sleight of hand.
You got hand skills. There you go.
Yeah. The thing is, what I know now is that what I should have been doing for about 15 years is like playing with a coin, and to keep my hands nimble and dexterous.
Yes.
So that you can do those tricks.
Constant. You know, my mom was always laughing at me because I was always like doing that with a coin or doing that with cards, and then she realized why, because you have to do that to kind of keep your everything, you know, working. So
right.
You do improv. Like, do you have any like crazy wild talents that you don't share other than doing improv? Like any other art? Do you play instruments?
No, I am a huge music fan. However, I am not musically inclined. I have a huge CD collection. I can actually show that to you right now if you want. I'm going to lift up my computer and tilt it over here. Wow. So I have a pretty huge CD. Nice. I love listening to music, right?
There you go.
And some people watching this probably don't even know what CDs are, but they can ask their parents, and their parents probably know what CDs are.
I still buy CDs, and like my fiance is like, why? You know, you could just download that onto your phone. I'm like, I don't know. I like having a physical thing that I can hold on to.
Right.
And it's still, to me, that's like records. I got back into records. It became like a big trend. So now I still listen to records, which is pretty fun. Now, during this pandemic, it's been hard. I know it's been hard for me to perform. Like what is Unscrewed Theater been able to do while all this is going on?
Well, what we're doing is pretty much what you and I are doing right now. We've moved online. So we stopped having in-person shows in the middle of March. And then a couple of weeks after that, for 2 weeks or so, we all got together and talked about how we can continue to do shows even though everybody's in their house. And so we found, like everybody else, we found Zoom. And a couple of weeks after we closed, we started doing online shows. We've done one show every week at the very least for the last 28 weeks at this point. So we have a show every Saturday night at 7:30. It is family friendly, all ages appropriate improv comedy, and we do it from our homes. And the whole cast is zooming in from their houses, and the people who watch the show are able to participate. They can type in their suggestions in the chat, and we use that as inspiration for the made-up scenes that we do.
That is so cool. And so there has to be a challenge though with improv, because improv in person is so hard enough. So there has to be a challenge with all these people on Zoom, like knowing when to talk, or like it's just got to be hard. You can't have any slapstick comedy. You can't have any. It has to be all, you know, zoned into the camera. Like, how do you get through that? Like, how do you do improv like that?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's absolutely been a learning curve. Like you said, doing improv in person when we're 2 feet away from each other is sometimes a challenge because we don't always connect. We don't always hear what the other person says. And listening is a huge part of improv because everything is unscripted. We don't know what the other person is going to say, and we don't know what we're going to say. So we have to really be good listeners to get all the information and to find the humor in it. And there are always, not always, but there are times where there are technical problems, like somebody's virtual background does. I mean, you're doing a great job with your background, but sometimes people's backgrounds don't work. Sometimes their pets walk through, the scene, things like that. And we have to be ready for that. We have to be able to react to those things, and we have to listen even more, because there are going to be those times where there's miscommunication. And as far as kind of doing it, like, in this rectangle that we have, right? Yeah, exactly. Like where everybody's trapped in a box, right? We find different ways to do things that we can't really even do on stage. Like, for example, I could never get this close to the audience, right? If you're watching this on Zoom, you would never get me this close when you're in a theater. And it does something to you. It makes you feel even a little bit closer, or maybe a little bit scared, or even happy, right? Yeah, you're backing away. So we can use the screen and do different things, like to use different parts of the screen, or we just leave.
And I've made Chris Seidman disappear, ladies and gentlemen. No.
It's an amazing magic trick. And I'm throwing my voice.
What's really crazy is with this background, sometimes my hand just magically disappears. Whoa, and it reappears. It's funny how video, like in past episodes, we've talked about how video is magic and on its own. But man, this is so cool. Where can people find out about your Friday shows and more about Unscrewed Theater?
Well, probably the best place to go is our website, which is www.unscrewedtheater.org.
Okay.
And we have an event calendar up there. And so it has everything that's going on at the theater. So not only do we have Saturday night performances, we also have improv classes. We also have improv workshops.
Okay.
During this downtime, we've partnered with other improv instructors from all across the country, and they are partnering with us to do online workshops. So we have all of that at our website as well. Also, our Facebook page is a great place to get information. We have all of our events and any kind of new news. As a matter of fact, coming up in October, on our Facebook page, we're going to have a special event only on Facebook. It is called Chain Reaction. And what's going to happen is we are going to use a total of 10 people split into 5 teams. And then every day we're going to have a different pair of improvisers start a scene and then continue that scene all the way through the week. And they're going to be playing this. They're going to be playing the same characters, even though it's different people that are doing it. And so that is going to start on October 19th, which is a Monday.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like a game that when I go to schools and I'm a guest, I play with the children, and we do a thing where we start a story, and then like down the line of the children in the line have to kind of finish the story. So that's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So
it is.
It is really hard to do. Some of the stories the kids come up with are pretty funny. Anyways, you have been an honor, and thanks so much for coming on the show. Guys, we're going to share a video, a small clip from Unscrewed Theater right after this interview. And also, I'm going to ask Chris if we can just get a graphic that we can show with the website and where you can find out more information. Thanks so much, Chris, for coming on the show.
Okay, so miniature golf professional is your inspiration. Take it away. Action.
Hi, Lottie, I didn't think you had it in ya.
I don't know what happened. Just one day I swung the club and it went through the windmill and over the river and around the whoopty-whoopty-whoopty-whoopty and then into the hole. One shot.
You've never been able to follow through on anything before. I'm so surprised.
I know there was the time I tried real estate and that failed. And then there was the time I tried to be a pro wrestler. I don't need to elaborate any further on that.
That one did not go well, laddie. You do not look good in a loincloth.
Freeze. Switch.
Nor in the full body cast that you ended up in afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I know. And it was so itchy. I really appreciated you bringing the back scratcher over.
You know what? I'm there to support you in every endeavor you go through in your life, whether it be miniature golf or that time you tried ant farming.
Switch.
That didn't go well either.
Laddie, the point is you keep at it. You try. Even though you fail miserably over and over, you keep trying.
That's me. I persevere in the face of insurmountable odds.
Switch.
And when I
That you do. I've been impressed the number of times you've broken bones or sprained ankles or been covered in hideous mutated ants.
answer the word.
It's just in my nature to fight through adverse conditions.
I didn't think you were going to survive those ants. That was the worst. And the hideous marks they left on your face. Ooh, I could hardly bear to look at you.
Switch.
It was gross.
I know, but you still stood by me and supported me. Thank you always.
That's true, and my investments in calamine lotion paid off that month.
Scene.
Thank you so much, Chris Seidman, for coming on the show. What a cool person. And the fact that he did magic when he was little, and that's one of the first things he did. That's pretty cool, man. I think magic is a good inspiration no matter what type of performance arts. I mean, a lot of people I know that are actors have gotten into magic as well. Like, look at Neil Patrick Harris. He's pretty awesome. Guys, we actually have an upcoming event October 16th at 6:30 p.m. We are doing a Halloween spooktacular. It's going to be incredible. It's at Park Place Mall. It's a brand new drive-in performance venue for live entertainment. We got 2 big video screens on either side of the stage, 2 big aerialist rigs. We're going to have pyrotechnics, lots of fun magic, dancers. It's going to be a blast. And again, it's social distancing, guys, for Halloween. It's one of the only events in Tucson right now to do. Check it out. It's $30 a carload. You can find more information at illusionistmichaelhowell.com. And guys, tickets are on sale. Get your tickets before they sell out. There's only a limited amount of tickets available. All right, guys, it's that time of the show where I get to tell you some of the silliest jokes. Okay, so Jericho, what did the light say to the car? No, I'm just kidding. That's not a joke. All right, here we go, guys. These are Halloween jokes. Mainly dealing with pumpkins, because pumpkin flavored stuff's out, and pumpkin is like my favorite. Okay, what do you get when you drop a pumpkin?
What do you get when you drop a pumpkin?
A squash.
Oh.
Boom, boom. Look at that. Okay. Why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid?
Why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid?
It has no guts. That's terrible if you take out the guts. All right. Why did the pumpkin take a detour?
Why did the pumpkin take a detour?
To avoid the seedy parts of town.
Oh,
that's bad. Okay, guys, we got one more joke. What did the pumpkin say to its carver?
What did the pumpkin say to its carver?
Cut it out! And that was a throwback to Full House. All right, guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. Or thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Sorry, I started thinking because I have a new magic assistant, guys. Lily, and her dad looks a lot like the guy in that Full House show. Anyways, next week's guest, we have a very special guest, Dennis Tamblin, actor, performer. He has a theater. He's amazing. He'll be on next weekend, so make sure you tune in. But for now, guys, stay safe, stay classy, and take care, guys.